When a girl is born into the cattle-keeping Pokot tribe that inhabits Amudat district in eastern Uganda, life is supposed to follow a very simple and predictable pattern. She is supposed to help her family with day-to-day chores, undergo female genital cutting FGM in her early teens, and then she is forced into marriage so that her father can get wealth in form of many cows. Girls as young as 11 years are forced into marriage.
The Pokot are part of the Kalenjin sub-tribe, and as you are aware, most of these Kalenjins practice FGM as a way of passage of a girl from childhood to adulthood. So this has been a cultural practice that has stayed really for long. But being aware of the detrimental effects that it causes to a woman or a girl, right from bleeding, right to up to the scars that form after the circumcision, which makes a woman to have difficulties during deliveries. So there was need from the partners and government to sensitize communities of Amudat or the Pokot to abandon this cultural practice. Forced marriage, stroke early marriages have a direct link with FGM. Going through FGM, that is when a girl, however much young they are, can now be married off. So there is that link. If you stay, for example, up to whichever age and you are not yet married, you will still not get into that forced marriage and so on. But as soon as they are circumcised, that is when they are deemed to be now full woman to be married.
Girls who want to study have to make a very difficult choice. Either they run away, an act that earns them total banishment from the family, or listen to their parents and be forced into early marriage. Many girls every year are forced into early marriages, but thanks to the efforts of government and development partners like National Association of Women Organizations in Uganda, NAWU, some girls have been rescued, enrolled in school, and given practical skills.
If people are having that mindset change and considering to send their children to school, and then you know that they are beginning to accept that there are certain human rights that children have to benefit from. But from that number also we have girls who were supposed to have undergone FGM and they ran away from home and came into the schools that also double as safe spaces. This year, I think, this year alone, there are about 54 of those girls. But throughout the years, from 2017, we've had numbers, 21, 34. Of course, some continue because they come to the school and many of them stay throughout. We have reintegration programs where we visit the families and talk to the families to accept their children back. Very few of them have done that. Actually, most of the families where you find the girl has comfortably gone back is where the father is not in the home. Either they have separated or the father died.
These are stories of 4 girls who managed to run away from FGM and forced early marriages and are being supported by NAWU. Esther is a bright young girl. From an early age, she knew what she wanted and she was willing to go against her father to achieve her dream.
In 2014, I wanted to come to school, but my father refused and my mother accepted. I escaped from home. I came to Kalas Girls. When my father got to know that I was at school, he started beating my mother.
By scoring aggregate 11 against all odds from Kalasi Girls Primary School, Amudat, Esther became the first girl ever to better the boys in the district.
from 2017. Now came in and supported us up to P7. That was in 2020 when Corona came. We stayed at school during the lockdown. I read very hard, and when the exams came in, I was the best pupil in the whole district with 11 aggregates, mathematics 2, science 2, SST 3, and English 4. Since I was the best student in the whole district, sister took me, sponsored me, took me to Our Lady of Guadalupe in Kampala, where I studied my secondary school, 2022 senior 1, and now 2023 senior 2. So I'm now studying very hard in order to perform well in my senior 4. I'm now studying hard in order to complete my senior 4. After senior 4, I go to A level. Then after A level, I go to university. After university, I would like to become a nurse because there are very few nurses, Pokots who are nurses, and especially in my ward, in my community, there is none who is a nurse.
Just when Esther's future seemed bright, calamity struck. During holidays, as she went to fetch water, she was dragged into a bush by a certain man and raped. Esther conceived and she was expelled from school. The tragedy that befell Esther underscores the challenges and different hurdles rescued girls face. Even the best are not safe. She now faces an uncertain future as she prays her scholarship is not revoked.
This issue has happened. This is not the end of the world. We can see, I feel she still has an opportunity and a chance to still go back to school. As an organization, we really want to continue supporting her so that she can go back to school because this is not the first. She's not one of them. She's not the first of those who have gone through this problem. During Corona, I remember we had many who got pregnant, but we encouraged them to go back to school, and I'm so happy that many of them are now in school. And we shall still award Esther the same support to ensure that even after she gives birth, she can still go back to school.
Sharuto Monica and Chepogon Monica are pupils of Kalasi Girls Primary School who are part of 65 rescued girls being supported by NAU. Despite their harrowing experiences, they are determined to succeed.
I told my parents that I want to go to school. They denied me. They told me that you are a girl, you are not supposed to go to school. You are supposed to stay at home so that we get cows. But for me, I had that interest of studying. I wanted to study. And the people of Nau supported us. They are the ones bringing for us soap, knickers, bed sheets, the uniforms, the food which we used to eat during the holidays when they closed the school, and everything. If Nau was not there, I think I could not be in school. For me, I love school so much because if I see people who went to school, they are now working. Some of them are doctors, presidents. That's why I'm in school and I'm also a leader, so that in the future I also lead other people. When I was at home, my father chased my mother. After that, she told me to take care of the children. However, I had an elder sister, but she forced that one to get married. Then now she told me to take care of the young ones at home, and I make sure that the children can get food to eat. Then now for me, I stayed digging the garden alone, struggling cutting aloe veras in order to get food. For me, I chose one Saturday that I was coming here at Kalas Girls. Those people of Nau came here at school and they brought us scholastic materials. And I recalled the things I went through when I was at home, the suffering I went from there at home. I just said, let me just stay at school, and I study hard.
In the nearby Katikit Primary School, Nau has bought 13 machines, including one for knitting sweaters and materials to skill the girls in tailoring. The girls are trained in tailoring during the holidays.
When I was at home, I used to stay with my parents, but my dad and my mother separated. Now I went and stayed with my uncle. My uncle told me that don't go to school, that you need to go for marriage. Now for me, I told my uncle I want to do what to study. My uncle refused, and I went. I slept at home. I woke up very early in the morning. I footed up to Amdat, and I went to Human Rights police station there to Human Rights. I went there, and then that Auntie Marab came. Now I asked her that I want to go to school. When I went to school, she brought me to school here at Katikit. I was in P6. She brought me to Katikit P6. Now when I was in P6, I started staying. No one visited me. But I heard some rumors, people saying that if you go home, they will kill you. We came here, we started doing tailoring, even making sweaters. We started learning like that up to now. Now for me, I'm very happy because I have known some skills from now.
Here is very free to learn. Nothing can disturb you. You can just learn free. Auntie Mara brought for us this machine. They told us that you start working this machine. They brought for us another woman to teach us. We start learning. That's how now I've known even to do this one. For me, I'm just praying God to help me. I finished my primary. I go to secondary. I finish secondary. I go university. I finish. I start looking for my work. And in my future, I'll be nurse.
Actually, why we are imparting these skills on these girls, not all these children who come to school will succeed with jobs. So if we give these children skills, that is their survival. Once they move out, somebody has got the skills of tailoring, can go and become a tailor out, makes clothes, sells.
If you are given a child, let's say, okay, you my share, you my share, all together. Yeah.
Sheltering 77 rescued girls is a big challenge to the two schools, despite support from Nau and other well-wishers.
It is not easy to cater for these girls here at school, but because we have our friends, these now companies, organizations, they are the ones supporting us in every way, supporting them, encouraging them to start school, and also at least giving them guidance and counseling. Because our guidance which we give here, it is not enough. Plus here at school, we give guidance and counseling in a group, a large group. And some of them, they come here when they don't know English. So they need these people, the local people, to talk to them at least one by one, just to encourage them, comfort them, because everybody comes here with our own problems. They are not the same. Others are beaten to fit in the community. And also to forget, it is very, very difficult to forget those things they do to them.
We lack classrooms. We also lack the dormitories. The dormitories that we have are very few. Besides that, we also lack where to put our machines. Sometimes we squeeze them where they are not supposed to be.
Concerted efforts from the different stakeholders has seen an increment in enrollment of girls in schools in Amodat district. What needs to be done now is to retain these girls in schools.
Through this awareness, I want to report to you that we've had a very high enrollment in terms of girls. It's actually now exceeding the ones for the boys. So what is the challenge now at hand? The challenge is, how do we retain these girls from enrolling in P1, P2, P3, P4? How do we retain them to complete P7, transit to secondary school O level, and then to tertiary institutions of learning? So that is now the challenge. Because, you know, these communities are also clever. They will hear what you are saying and then they say, okay, we've given our girls. But as the girls are growing, reaching P5, they start saying, okay, now this is the time we have to withdraw this, we bring other young ones.
The structures set up by NAU that include the Social Assistance Grant for Empowerment, STAGE beneficiaries, community-based action teams, combat, and religious leaders have been instrumental in sensitizing communities about the dangers of FGM and forced marriages. By training and equipping them with knowledge, they have been instrumental in sensitizing the community about the dangers of FGM and forced marriages.
These days, early marriages is reducing, even first marriage. Because these days, if a child is forced, the child comes to police. So even now, we have a lot of girls in charity, something like 20 something, because they were forced. And these days now, like this year and the other year, that thing is not happening. So for me, I rescued 3 girls from here.
In addition, now getting cutters of FGM to down their tools and instead take up other alternative sources of livelihood has led in the reduction of cases of FGM. Rebecca Lotokomoy, a former cutter, is now having thriving poultry and goat projects that have helped turn her fortunes for the better.
Kila Jumamosi weta acham weta langaror altina tini anyo tini kolu tayanyo krupne teo alam danyo karam akawa ka sapon danyan ombolo watoni ko mutisiano kimosu yanye tasa waka tini ka kipo komano opotanala to kwata ka kata ombaye Agi ala kwa nya ke chani ana ala kwa monu ngamno ke wa ka agi jinle mone jana tlila jamba kela maminye mone jana dole aswa nyo karam ala ke tabu o chanyo ke cha ta ka gidongo nya mi ta sawa to mona ngale janya ki wa ka porta nya ala kwa monu ngamno ata ka rie ke osinda ne kwa baria.
Women in Karamoja are very hardworking, as they do everything from gardening work to construction of their homes, but they are marginalized and have no say in the decision-making in their homes. NAU has empowered women groups in Amodat and Moroto with business skills and financial assistance to enable them engage in small businesses to empower themselves economically by fighting poverty. This is Linyog Women Group in Atiriri Sub-County. It is one of the most vibrant village savings and loan associations. They have 7 million shillings in savings, including a 2 million shilling top-up from NAU. This has enabled members engage in different businesses that are earning them income and improving their lives.
Da ki waya ka tagal mbolo bani ko nyuru aru yen joni ku ngara ka ni nyoman ku ngara ka no chengwan atasa ndio na atasa be sare nyan chengwa alan tio na tenya na konga o chengwa jele elmia aga be sare nyan alan sukaru gunia moja omba gunia ni joni ye kita sisemba mwa no ni mbolo ba chuta ka mai tagal mbolo o mai ka mai wala kana po ke to mi mon nge cho ka na sar ye ke li ke lo kitab ke lo kalama tagal ke ye mlo te joni mlo samak.
In Karita Sub-County, women from the Senkenke Women's Group are operating small but profitable businesses within the trading center. These small businesses are making the women become more financially independent.
Kama mimi ni Taylor, nashona charani. Nimenunua mbuzi yangu 20. Kwa hizo kazi yenye mimi nafanya. Nimenunua materials zangu yenye mimi nashonea watu manguo. Alafu wenzangu wengine anachoma chips. Mwingine anauza petrol. Mwingine anafanya cereal banking. Mwingine anauza mahindi na kununua. Anauza na kununua. Sasa kila mtu na department yake ya kufanya nini? Biashara.
Josephine from Ekileng Women's Group in Tapach Sub-County, Moroto District, has been able to grow her bar business from 2 crates of beer to 60 crates.
I borrowed 300 from the group as a startup capital. So as I continued selling my beer and also getting my profit, so my credits also had to increase. I'm saving 200 in a month and I'm getting 600 as my profit in a month. Yeah. So this 400 is the money that I use for family. At times this is the very money that I use for food, for soap at home, and also I have my sister supporting at school.
These well-organized NAWU-supported groups are now better positions to accessing government programs like the Parish Development Model, PDM. This will enable them expand and diversify their businesses.
PDM is on progress, so when we realized the monies are already there, most of them, we told them to join what? To join groups from each and every parish where you are, so that you can now benefit from that. That is the government policy now. Kawo has been also supporting when they got their donation from their partners. So they also got some groups which they are supposed to support. These saving groups, and then they gave them a grant. That's how we are trying as much as possible.
NAWU has also trained and empowered the women in Amodat in leadership skills. These skills have enabled some of the women to successfully take up leadership positions and champion women and girl-child causes with FGM and forced marriages at its core. In the last election, 8 women were elected as LC1 chairpersons in Amodat district, a record. Chep Kumen Rebecca has been an LC1 chairperson for the past 15 years. After NAWU training, she is now championing the fight against FGM and early marriages.
Otini hanyu kyonyo ruanga charuno ni amuga waya korone te kwanza elo chengi kelempile kita ni mon gale tipi school mela takagale nyagi bata kelempi takala garmata nagrma bi chole yotin ku omba ngale chini ki ku cham ke guang ke pi chole yotin kelum nge cha nyu mrenje tele che cha takal aga swala ke chibo karama to mi chi nyole jo baita atomba ke stone ki kelum chi na ke ngitele kyol to ta nyomba school omba mun mela takala ta nyagi ba kanji ma chama nya cha ta ta kyalta.
Atawa Mary was a shy housewife who did not know her rights as a woman. Now trainings inspired her to take up a leadership position, and she was elected the area woman councillor. She is prioritizing fighting for the rights of the girl child.
Ina jika pakai tur meran dengan kalau jam bola ni kalau Paris kan salah meran kalau cai mana angka ina jika kalau kawan dia nyonong dia ni nak kaki cila kalau katuan kaki pena mana nya atau amga ya ni ba kemenyo anyinya nasi ya ananya ba wiri yang aku nginya keseg meran nyo teken coke wanya kewun cewun meran atau anyi kijuannya juga tu na ngain ta juga tu na ngalang.
By now, supporting rescued girls with education, empowering the women groups and women leaders, and working with the different stakeholders, a Pokot girl now has a better chance at avoiding FGM and forced marriages. This will enable them fulfill their potential and make a contribution to the development of their communities. However, more needs to be done.
I want to believe that the Embassy of Ireland is interested in seeing that female genital mutilation ends in the Karamoja sub-region, because their largest focus in terms of charitable funding actually is in Karamoja. So I want to believe that there is going to be a component that still addresses issues of female genital mutilation. But also, ever since we came into Karamoja, there are very many organizations now that have come. Action Aid is also actively in Karamoja now, and they have put up a shelter. Although it's a temporary shelter, it's a transition shelter where one comes to seek refuge when there's violence in the home, and then as the technical people work towards reintegrating them back into their families, dealing with the issues that caused the violence, they stay in the shelter until they reach a solution, and then they go back into a community. So that is not the kind of shelter that we look at as a space where these girls can stay, because these girls need long-term safe space where they can stay while reintegration is happening. And if reintegration doesn't happen, that is where they stay until they are able to do something for themselves and move on with their lives.
I would really request that NAU get some funding or request their donors so that they can construct a permanent place that we will say this is the home of the girls who have been rescued. Because now what is happening there in Kalas, sometimes it is even inconveniencing. They are there, and sometimes they can be even discriminated by those ones who, when they see them, they say, no, these are the ones who escaped marriage. These are already people's women, these are from the other girls. So there is need to really isolate them, have their own place. Say that now this is a rescue center where all of them know that we are here because of a particular challenge. If anything, we can, as a council, we can allocate land for these structures, so that these girls are in a place that is actually convenient for them. And in fact, the land is already there.